Hey y'all, what's up? May 11, me and Rich are going to do the water pump today. He's inside filling up some, going to fill up some bottles. You'll hear this thing start running here any time now. Filling up a couple water jugs to prime the pump and maybe even prime the line, I guess, as we're putting the new pump back together. This is the old one. I want to hear you to hear this thing run, the noise it makes compared to the new one in the cleanup video when we're done. You ought to see that gauge move. It'll go from 50 where it's at down to about 32 as he's draining water in there. While filling up water bottles. And about 32, there it goes. 32, it'll turn on. The pump will start running, and it's loud. Hmm. Did you turn the right power back on? No, power's on. Whoa! That thing's it's pretty loud. And it's got a different sound to it now. Almost like a gravelly bearing noise. I mean, it had a high-pitched, whiny noise before, but it's pretty bad. And folks, we've had the replacement pump. I don't even know. You may go back and look through the videos. I've had that thing probably a year, and I've been putting this off and putting this off and putting this off because, as I showed Rich, the tank isn't bolted down. It's just sitting on those cinder blocks. Now this is bolted to the tank, but we're not replacing the tank. You could buy the tank, hose, pump, everything. All you got to do is hook up your supply and your feed, your feed and your supply to the house going out. But I assumed this was going to be easy to do, and it might be. But you have to turn this and disconnect the hose from the fitting. And then you got to take this 90 fitting out. That's got to go in the other pump. You got to disconnect this here and spin this whole piece from, I'm guessing from here to here, has got to come out of the pump and go into the other one, right? And we've got to remove the pressure gauge and put it on the other pump. And it doesn't look like they got any thread tape on this bit here. But this here's got thread tape on it. I'm sure that gauge has probably got some kind of. I've got dope. I've got plumber's putty. We use for the go-kart brake lines and stuff, or for pipe thread, tapered thread. But I don't want to use the dope. I read they were using the tinfoil or the Teflon tape. I'm just going to use the tape on here, and that's my biggest concern. Just like this thing here. When this part blew out and we had water going all over the place because I didn't use the blue stuff instead of the purple, I'm worried if we get it all back together and we turn it on and it's just, all it's going to take is a little dripping leak. And you got to shut it all down, drain the pressure back off, stop everything, and tear things back apart again and redo them. And that goes from being just a couple hour job, sopping up a little water with some towels or whatever and running a fan and getting it back to now you're, with my luck, it doesn't get done in the same day, and this needs to go smoothly. And that's why I've been freaked out about doing it all together. We'll see. I think I had Richie fill up 3-gallon bottles out there in the house. And there he is. Y'all full up?
Yep.
Okay, so we got everything we need. We're going to shut the power off at the breaker box, disconnect the electrical. Then I need Richie to really stabilize this whole unit while I get the big wrench on here, while I get you know, break this loose, get the, you know, get the pump off and all that kind of thing. I was really just operating a big wrench and trying to keep this thing from tweaking and moving and busting any of this plastic. You know, we don't want to have damage any of the plastic. So we'll bring you back in a bit. You saw, man, I jumped off the ground when that sucker turned on. It was so freaking loud out here. So hopefully the next one, nice and quiet. I'm Robert.
I'm Richard.
And today we're plumbers.